Hi, welcome to the Rittner Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. The time of the year, December, holiday period. At this time of the year, people are enjoying Christmas, but they're also enjoying Hanukkah. And we thought that this would be a great opportunity to show you some examples of designs for the Jewish holiday. Now, let's make things clear on this. Hanukkah is not a Jewish Christmas. They're very different holidays. Christmas, as you realize, commemorates the birth of Christ. Hanukkah, on the other hand, is a holiday of religious freedom. It celebrates the fact that the Jews, over 2,000 years ago, won religious freedom against some pretty tough odds. It celebrates individuality and uniqueness among diversity. They happen to coincidentally occur about the same time of the year. However, they're not the same holiday. We can still come up with some amazing designs for Hanukkah, though, and we wanted to share that with you today. And we're starting off here with several very, very neat designs. You'll notice that the theme, as far as our color scheme is concerned, happens to be white and blue. The white and blue, which are symbolic of the white and blue used in a traditional Jewish prayer shawl, these are generally considered pretty cool colors to use as far as this particular holiday is concerned. And so in order to come up with the white and blue motif, you'll notice that on the design on the right, we happen to have a blue container, some blue glass millimeter balls, some white roses are placed here. We have a few other interesting things, a little curly willow, a little fantail willow, and a little piece of leptospermum, which is a very, very neat exotic material. The design over here on the left is another simple arrangement for Hanukkah. It gets in the concept of the white and blue with millimeter balls, some white carnations, some white roses, a few pieces of statice. Here it's in water. It's a simple design. There's some blue wire worked along here. These are very, very simple little designs that would work well in the workplace if allowed. They would work well on a sideboard, somewhere where you want to put a few flowers to symbolize the Jewish holiday, yet at the same time you want something very simple and very, very small. We can go in so many different directions with this holiday. It is very, very neat because it's amazing the kinds of things you can start doing when you actually start playing with these motifs. Now let me show you another couple of examples, my viewer. Here are a pair of designs. These two are meant to go together. The other two were separate, but we showed them at the same time. In this particular case, we have these two. They're twins. They might work nicely along the center of a table if we had a whole bunch of them, or perhaps on a mantle. In this particular case, blue containers. Our combination of silver and blue millimeter balls here. A couple of white roses in each, and then just for a touch of something different, a few pieces of our bells of Ireland shooting out. The green doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the white and blue motif, but stems of flowers and foliage of flowers definitely are green, and therefore it gives a nice kind of added punch and a little counterpoint to it. So here we've got two very simple designs that are meant to go together. Now, when we're talking about Hanukkah, we're talking about family getting together, family enjoying each other, lighting the candles, the dreidel game, and so forth. There are very few hard and fast rules as far as this holiday is concerned in terms of observance, but certainly we want to have things that reflect family meetings and getting together and having dinner. And so we thought that it would be fun to show you a few centerpieces that reflect this holiday. And here is a typical example. This is a very, very pretty table centerpiece. It's rather elaborate. It has all kinds of things in it. Again, we're staying pretty close to the blue and white motif on this particular design. The hurricane lamp and the candle are purely decorative. They're not meant to be lit, just for enjoyment. Again, we've got our blue millimeter balls in several different colors. We've got a variety of some of our white roses, some of our white carnations, some of our white palms here. Here and there we have a touch of our accent flowers, our statice, blue statice kind of mixed in with the design. And to reflect that it is during the holiday season, we're using seasonal foliage such as our balsam fir and a few pine cones mixed in, but they are submerged in this overall design. The white silvery stuff that we have here happens to be called kochia. It is an amazing material, and it is brought in from Israel at this time. It is just great stuff to work with, and you can see that we have a lovely, lovely centerpiece for Hanukkah. And we can play with this theme in different ways. Stylistically, we can go in all kinds of directions when we're talking about table centerpieces for the holiday. Here's a design that could work as a table centerpiece. but it also could work very nicely on a sideboard, in an entry area, on a mantle. Again, it uses a hurricane lamp motif with candle. It's got, again, the combination of white and blue symbolized through our white roses, our white carnations, some of our blue millimeter balls, some blue status. This stuff here is amazing stuff. This is Fantail Willow. It comes to us from the nice folks at Blooming of Beloit, Wisconsin, and it adds a touch of whimsy to the holiday, makes it look really, really neat. Sometimes by adding some of these little touches, you can come up with very, very different effects. Now here we have a design that is more geared towards a sideboard, possibly a sideboard, maybe a mantle. This is a design on a footed pedestal. You notice that it comes up a few inches. We have here, again, to get our white and blue motif, which are symbolic of the Jewish talit or prayer shawl, the traditional Jewish talit or prayer shawl. We happen to have our blue millimeter balls. We've got white carnations. We have some of our white spray roses worked here and there, which are a little bit different. We have some of our delphinium that is tucked in here and there. A little bit of our status here and there, peppering it. Some leptospermum, which create a little bit of a counterpoint. And this stuff here is a form of amaranthus. It's very, very neat stuff. The foliage hanging off here and here is called Xanadu. The Xanadu is an import from Israel, which is, I think, very appropriate when we are commemorating a Jewish holiday. Xanadu from Israel, very, very pretty, brought in for us by the folks of Blooming of Beloit, Wisconsin. It is amazing stuff, and we thought that you would enjoy seeing it in this design. Again, to show you the variation of things that you can do for this holiday, here is another design. You can see the table centerpieces can come in many, many different forms and can be stylized in a variety of different kinds of approaches. In this particular case, we've got a very, very pretty blue bowl. We've got some of our decorative wire from the folks at Smithers. It's amazing stuff. A candle, again, for decorative purposes only, not meant to be lit. In fact, we have it covered with cellophane. A combination of our white carnations here, some of our white miniature carnations, and we've got some white lisianthus, which are absolutely amazing. Some of our kiwi vine worked in through the design that really gives it a very, very interesting and kind of otherworldly effect. We can go on and on, my viewer, with different styles and approaches, and I think that you can see we're having fun with this particular holiday. Just because we're keeping our color scheme in the whites and blues does not necessarily mean that we're going to be boring. We can have a lot of fun and do some amazing things within this particular realm. And this example, I think, gives you a very, very good feel for it. You have an amazing container. It's got a silvery kind of reflective, almost like a glass reflective feeling to it. And then we've got an absolutely magnificent design here, again featuring the white and blue motif appropriate for Hanukkah season. We've got a combination of different materials here. Of course, our blue is brought about through our blue millimeter balls. We also happen to have some status peppering the design. A combination of white flowers. The neat thing about Hanukkah is that because it does make use of white, there are so many wonderful materials that we have available in white. And so we can play with that here. We've got some of our white roses. We've got some of our white carnations, some of our white palms. But we also have this design peppered with white lisianthus, which give a really neat effect. And, believe it or not, some of our alstroemeria, which are white and have just a little touch of some streaks in them that give a really, really neat effect. Again, this design is featuring a lot of kochia. The kochia is this silvery white stuff that absolutely works very, very well with just about anything. It sets off other materials against it. It gives wonderful contrast. It's a silvery white color. The kochia is available through the great folks at Blooming of Beloit, Wisconsin. It is brought in from Israel, and therefore I think is really, really appropriate for this particular holiday. It works so, so well. This design happens to be one that I really like, and it's one that could go in an entry area, in a bay window, on a mantle. It could be used on a sideboard. It works so well. But you'll notice, as we're going along, my viewer, we're playing with different kinds of motifs. And I think you can see that we can go from the simple bud vase idea to table centerpiece ideas to designs that are essentially one-sided that can be placed in different spots. Now let's go from something that is rather traditional to something that is a little bit more way out and equally interesting. Here, my viewer, if we can just get this design in place, is an arrangement built on top of glassware. It is an interesting composition because if we look at it, you'll notice that we've got branchy material coming out. The design is suspended on glassware. It is an interesting piece. This is not for everybody. This kind of design works very, very well for somebody who's got rather adventurous tastes. And we have here, again, a combination of our materials. Some of our roses are clustered here, some of our carnations clustered here, our blue millimeter balls. We've got some of our salal tips placed in here, a backing of some of our balsam fir, very easily found at this time of the year, and then some of our fantail willow shooting up over here and over the side there, giving a rather contemporary effect. Keep in mind, my viewer, that we can go from the very, very classical to the contemporary and way out and come up with some very, very interesting approaches that you may never have considered. Now, if we're going to consider something contemporary in feeling for this particular holiday, let's show you another design that is similar along the same line. We can go in so many different directions. And here, my viewer, is a rather interesting piece, very, very contemporary. In this particular design, you'll notice that the actual construction is built on a plexiglass frame, And notice that we've got a wide variety of things, again encompassing this concept of the blue and white from the traditional Jewish prayer shawl. We've got some of our blue millimeter balls placed here to continue the concept of the blue, some of our blue delphinium shooting here, here, and here, giving almost like a triangular motif through the middle of the design. Our white through our white Fujis, some of our white Lysianthus coming in here, here, coming over on the side, and then the use of some of our silver white kochia from Israel, here, here, shooting over here, and shooting over here, filling the design in, making use not only of the Israeli kochia, but also some of the Israeli Xanadu foliage here and here to give some interesting contrast, and then mixing a piece or two of bells of Ireland in for contrast and effect. This design is for somebody who really is more on the fringe, who loves adventurous kind of styles. And if we like adventurous styles in our everyday vase arrangements and things that we can put around our house without having a holiday, certainly we can apply it when we're dealing with a holiday like Hanukkah. So if you've got a desire to kind of go a little on the wild side and think out of the box, certainly you can do it on this holiday using holiday colors and motifs. I've got one more design that I'd like to share with you, my viewer, for Hanukkah that I think you guys are going to enjoy. This particular one is a little bit more traditional, but I think equally fun. And let me get this up on the platform, my viewer. I beg your pardon while it takes me a minute to move a few of these things around. We have a very, very neat design here. And again, exemplifying the holiday season. What we have here is a unit design. We have, if you look at it very, very carefully, our little bear friend who is playing with his dreidel, which is the little top that the kids and the young at heart love to play on this holiday. And then we have an amazing vase arrangement using all kinds of things. This design is not teeny tiny. It's a good sized piece. And you can see that we can go in so many different directions. This design, again, gets across the blue and white motif through the use of blue and white materials, our blue millimeter balls, our blue status peppered throughout the design. Our white, our container here that our design is made is blue. We've got a combination of white materials, our white Fujis working through the center of the design, coupled along with our white roses worked here and there through the design, silver white kochia shooting through the design again, courtesy of the folks of Blooming Abelloid, an import from Israel, and then some of our fantail willow working here, 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 coming up, curving around, and then some of our leptospermum for a little bit of contrast worked through the design. This design is an amazing arrangement. This is one that definitely goes in an entry area or possibly into a bay window. So what do you think, my viewer? Quick, easy, and fun. We can have a lot of fun with various holiday motifs. When you're thinking the period around December, we enjoy the reds, the yellow, the golds, and the greens of Christmas. But we can also think in terms of various expressions for Hanukkah. Expressions in floral art for Hanukkah can go from one extreme to another. They can be small little bud vase type designs, simple designs that have almost an oriental flair with a branch or two, a few millimeter balls, and a few flowers. They can be matching type designs like the two containers with the bells of Ireland, the blue millimeter balls, and so forth. We have a wide variety of different things we can do for table centerpieces, and you saw a variety of different examples here. And then we can go in more contemporary extremes, playing with designs that are glass-based, that have water in them. We can come up with abstract type designs, and yes, we can even play with something that is a little bit more traditional, but certainly gives an awesome feeling in terms of getting across the holiday symbolism and motif. Well, my viewer, it was a pleasure having you come into one of our classrooms today. We covered a lot of ground. Please come back and visit us for more of these video series. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that this video sparked your thinking in terms of some of the great designs that you can do for this very exciting holiday of Hanukkah. Thanks again for coming in and visiting with us today. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner. For all of us, have a very, very happy holiday. Chag Sameach. Enjoy your Hanukkah and your Christmas season. Thank you.